Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Christian. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good day, good night. Wherever you are, whenever you're seeing this, I hope you are good. So guys, today we're going to be talking about just massive transformation and how these eclipses are transforming things for us in our lives. I just did a podcast episode yesterday talking about be careful what you believe about yourself. I think that's going to tie into how this eclipse is transforming us. This eclipse is definitely showing us a lot more. And mind you, we just had a lunar eclipse with the full moon a couple of days ago, a total lunar eclipse, and we'll be having a total solar eclipse on April 8th. So there's so many different things that eclipses bring into our lives. And that's what we're going to be talking about, some eclipse downloads and messages that I've been getting for you guys from this eclipse. Now, you guys know I always do private readings when we have a new moon or a full moon. I am going to be doing total transformation messages strictly about the energies that the total lunar eclipse and this total solar eclipse are bringing into your life. So we're going to be getting into your finances, your relationships, and your spiritual journey to see how these eclipses are transforming you. You know, eclipses represent portals. Eclipses represent moments where you're able to go from 0 to 100, moments where you're able to have huge revelations and finally make changes that stick. So it's going to be up to us. The ball is in our court like never before. So if you want to get a total transformation message, they're $30. You can check the top of the description box to see how you can get one and send in your coins so you can get one. And I'm going to be sending those out same day, of course. So yeah, guys, you guys can get into that. Make sure you leave your Instagram username or your email in the payment notes so I know where to send your reading. And I'm going to remind you guys at the end and of course in the middle of the video that you guys can get those private total transformation messages to really understand how this is affecting you specifically in your finances, in your relationships, and overall in your spiritual journey. And if you want to sign up right now, pause the video and get into it and then come back. But let's go ahead and talk about this. I think that overall, you know, eclipses give us opportunities to kind of be in a split second of a spiritual awakening. You know, like when you have a spiritual awakening and your third eye opens for that little moment, you know, I don't think our third eye is something that's always open. You know, we can't handle having our third eye open every day, honey. A lot of times we are blind as bats when it comes to who is doing what, the red flags, the things we need to look out for. Sometimes we're just not in a space where we can see it because we're human as well, you know, and it takes a very spiritually aligned part of you to tap into your third eye, to tap into your intuitive gifts, to tap into your psychic abilities. Please believe the psychic folk, me, the people that's gifted, are not living their lives every day. We don't have the lottery numbers, you know, like a lot of people always say, oh, if I was psychic, or oh, if I was psychic, or people just think that being psychic means that, you know everything that there is to know. And I don't necessarily think that's the case. I think if anything, God just maybe trusts me a little bit more with certain knowledge and certain wisdom and certain gifts. And we all have certain gifts that God gives us because we are trusted with those gifts. So it's not necessarily about me knowing everything or about anyone being psychic who just has all the tea. God has given you a gift and you can use that gift when you could use the gift. It's not something that you can't always figure out when you first meet somebody. Are they for me or not? Because your intuition will tell you you need this experience. It won't say you needed to teach you a lesson. It won't say you needed to break your heart so you can learn how to heal yourself on your own. It won't say you needed to show you love for the first time. You don't know what is going to come from it, but your intuition will pull you to something. So I said all of that to say in a space of an eclipse, we all have that psychic, intuitive energy going on. Whether it's the week of the eclipse or just when you really start to think. I honestly think it's just eclipse season in general, and we're going to be stepping back into eclipse season at the end of the year. Make sure you guys check out this eclipse on April 8th if you can. The path that is going to be passing over way more of the US. So wherever you are, you know, in the world, but especially if you're in the US and the southern states, I believe you'll be able to see it. And I believe the crossover is going to be like 4 minutes. Last time it was only 2 minutes, and it was only in areas where they didn't have a lot of people, but it's going to be a lot of people that get an opportunity to see the eclipse. So check out where you're going to be on April 8th. What area is it going to be crossing so you could possibly see it? You guys can look that up online. But I feel like this is a time where we've been able to tap into certain things, and whether it's been life or bills or breakups or issues in your friendships or your family or whatever, or sickness or whatever that's caused you to kind of push those breakthroughs to the back, those breakthroughs are there. You've been getting breakthroughs. You've been getting breakthroughs. You've been learning more about yourself. You've been recognizing what you're wrong. You've been recognizing what you need to do different. You've been recognizing what issues you have that maybe you thought you were over with that you're not really over with. Like, we've been able to see more than ever, you know, how we need to grow, how we need to evolve, what's wrong with us, where we allow too much, where we, kept quiet for too long, or we maybe use our voice in an inappropriate way, or even our gifts in an inappropriate way. There are so many different things that we've just been able to see about ourselves specifically. This is the time for you to act on those things. I think that we have been missing the action, and I think I mentioned that in my last video. This is the time to take action, and we've been missing that. And I think a big transformation that a lot of us are going to see is you're going to feel like it's a do or die. You're going to start feeling either a lot of dread, and I think I mentioned this before, you're going to be feeling a lot of dread in this season, like, oh my God, I have this against me, I have this against me, I have this against me. Or you'll be able to see that your knowledge is power, and you'll be able to use the knowledge that you're gaining to help you navigate situations better, navigate friendships better, know what you need more, and serve your needs better. So I feel like there has been a disconnect between us and our gifts and us and the truth, seriously. And I think now that veil is being broken, and I think this eclipse season is challenging us to use the truth to our benefit. Use the truth to your benefit. The truth does you no good to know it and not do anything with it. You have to use the truth to your benefit in every way possible, seriously. The truth is like the secret formula to life, honestly. There's so many distractions. There's so many things that are making us feel this and feel this. That's why in the podcast episode, I talked about make sure you're careful about what you believe about yourself. Make sure you're careful about what you believe about the world. A lot of us feel certain ways about marriage, relationships, friendships, entrepreneurship, working a 9-to-5, divorce, whatever. We feel the way we do about certain things, friendship breakups even. We feel the way we do about these things because of what we're seeing in the world versus how we really feel about it. We're feeling the way that we do because we're seeing people either feel good or bad about something, and we're just kind of looking for a way to feel, so we just kind of cling on to something. A lot of times we're supporting things and we don't even know what we're supporting. We have a problem with something and we're not even sure why. The people around us have a problem with it, so okay, us too, So this is a time to understand what you believe. And that doesn't mean that you're always going to be in the right. You might have some beliefs that make other people cringe. You might have some faith in things that other people can't understand, and that's okay. I think that a big problem is people fighting for their lives to be likable, fighting for their lives to be seen, fighting for their lives to do something that happens automatically. You don't have to fight to be seen, especially in your purpose. You just have to do it and you'll be seen by the right people. We try to fight for the results when in reality, all we have to do is the reaction and the results will come. I'll say that again. We try to fight so hard for the results and we'll never see the results fighting for the results. You have to fight for the action and just commit. And if you fight for the action, you'll get the results. Stop worrying about the results. I think we're going to realize how our goal setting has been actually making us more stressed, making us doubt ourselves more, making us question ourselves more. Like a lot of people even stepped into this year with the wrong mindset. A lot of y'all stepped into this year, and even me, stepped into this year with the completely opposite mindset that you should have about your goals, about the things that you want to do, about the things that you want to achieve. We've learned so much about ourselves since September. The last eclipse season that we had in September, October, leading up until, this eclipse season, we have an eclipse season that comes around about every 6 months, So it's always a time to reevaluate. It's always a time to, kind of look at things for a split second. And it's kind of like if you were in a world and everybody was monsters and you had these glasses on and you couldn't see. And the second that an eclipse is happening, it's kind of like you take the glasses off for a second, but you put them back on so quick you don't even remember the things that you just saw. Have you ever been in a situation like that where maybe you're having a conversation with someone and they say something and you want to speak on it, but they say so much after, it's like, well, dang, I kind of feel like I lost my window. And I think that's how we feel. I think that the eclipse energy is very fleeting. The eclipse energy that we feel, like the big aha moment, doesn't last forever, girl. Rent is due. The eclipse is nice, but rent is due. People are stressed. People are confused. Valentine's Day is over. The weather's starting to warm up. Relationships are having problems. The things that we're seeing are painful. The things that we're learning in this season are hurting us. A lot of us are having to do deep healing. Like I said, you're either going to be feeling awesome about it or you're going to be feeling really, really down about it. So because the moment of aha, like the moment of realization is so fleeting, it's so easy to immediately get back into the stress and the confusion and not knowing yourself, not trusting yourself, not believing in yourself, not having faith in yourself, even though you've just seen all the reasons why you don't, even though you've just seen that. So I really challenge you guys to open your MFing eyes, pry your eyes open, clip your lids back, okay, and take the things that you see as things for you to study in your life. You know, if you just had a flashback maybe of a moment in your childhood, like let's say you were working on a project recently and you had a flashback from a moment in your childhood where maybe your parents said something inappropriate to you about your progress, or a friend did, or a teacher did, or a sibling did, or whoever, and it just made you forever be extra hard on yourself, forever doubt yourself, forever feel like you're not doing enough. You know, the next time you feel that, you need to be able to make that connection, okay? Some of us are very spiritually illiterate and we're very ignorant when it comes to our intuition. We don't pay attention to nothing. You not having no random thoughts of your childhood just because I'm not gonna say stupid, because stupid is a very bad word. And I can get very, stupidity really gets on my nerves. I don't know if y'all have recognized that yet about my delivery, but when people act oblivious, when people act like airheads, that really pisses me off. So why are you acting like you don't know why you're insecure? When every time you're feeling insecure, you have every moment in your life where you felt insecure popping up in your head and you're still wondering, I don't know why I'm feeling insecure. It's because you don't have nothing in your brain. That's why. I mean, some of us need to be more on ourselves mentally. Stop just letting your mind do whatever the fuck it wants. Your brain is not a fucking automatic pinball machine that's just knocking shit back and forth. You have your hands on the controllers whether you think you do or not. Whether you think you do or not. The reason you're triggered and those feelings come up and those emotions come up and those playbacks start going on in your head is because you've attached a certain emotion in the present to something you were taught in the past through a certain emotional response. Through your fear in the past, you were taught this. Through your disappointment in yourself in the past, you were taught this. Through being overcritical of yourself in the past, you were taught these things. That when I feel this, I'm also reminded of the time I failed here, and the time I didn't do good enough here, and the time I fell off here, you know? And instead of just drowning under that, you have to be like, wait, there's a pattern here. Hello? There's a pattern in the things that you've been experiencing. It ain't random. There's a pattern in it. And even if the pattern is you doubting yourself in every situation. Because to be honest, nothing should ever affect our emotions. That's how we should be, you know? Because spirit energy isn't about feelings. Spirit energy is about fact. These emotions that we feel are very human things, you know? It's human to think that because someone doesn't like you, no one will ever like you. That's a very human thing. It's human to think just because you fail once, you'll only fail. You'll only know failure. That's a very human thing. It's a human thing to feel like if you had a conversation with a person and it didn't go well, you shouldn't ever communicate again. That's a human thing. Spirit focuses on fact. Before I came to this conversation, maybe I was crying, maybe I was stressed out, maybe I didn't really have the skills or the tools or the energy in the moment to articulate what I really wanted to say. Maybe the person that I was talking to is stubborn. Maybe the person that I was talking to isn't willing to hear me because they're very, very emotional as well. So is it that I'll never be understood? Or is it that I have to make sure before I step into a space where I want to be understood, I make sure that it's a possibility of me to be understood? And I'm going to get into some more examples of that because a lot of us do that. A lot of us think that there isn't a possibility of us being misunderstood, getting heartbroken, getting played. You think everybody's supposed to like you, everybody's supposed to tell you the truth, everybody's supposed to understand you. Why do you think that? A lot of us are fighting a lot more with our ego than we recognize. Like, a lot of us feel like, well, I did it because of this. Well, I said it because of this. Well, I did this and I said it in this way. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? Do you not know that you can do everything right and still come up short from the other person's perspective? Your perspective doesn't really matter when you're interacting with people because it's about how you both are viewing the situation. You can have an amazing perspective about something and someone else can be feeling totally different. It doesn't matter what your soul perspective is. I do so many love readings, and people say, what is this person's intention? And in every reading, I'm not lying, every reading I've done where the question has been, what is this person's intention with me? The message I hear is their intention don't matter. I have never done a reading about intention where I didn't hear the intention doesn't matter. And the reason the intention doesn't matter is because someone can come into your life wanting to love you, but you might not be ready to be loved. Someone can come into your life wanting to wife you, wanting to give you a ring, wanting to give you a baby, wanting to start a life with you. Someone can meet you and want to partner with you in career. Someone can meet with you and want you to be their friend. People can have good intentions, but those good intentions don't mean that it's what you need. Those good intentions don't mean that you're ready for that. Those good intentions don't even mean that it's going to serve you 5 years down the line. A lot of people get into a lot of abusive relationships because they have good intentions. You might have a good or a decent intention. It's more than just the intention. You know, also something else, someone may say to you, I have a goal to understand you. But in their mind, they're not going to be able to understand you if you're emotional. They're not going to be able to understand you if you criticize them. They're not going to be able to understand you unless you're literally coming from their perspective. So someone might have the intention for those things, but you don't know what's underlying in that intention. So you don't want to be in a space where you feel like it's completely on you. Connections, relationships, anything that we do, most of the time, unless it's strictly about inner work, it's not just about you. So we carry a lot of feelings of failure, feelings of doubt, feelings of I can't do, I can't connect, I can't this. And it's not even about that. We've been trying to force the connections of our dreams with people that aren't even supposed to be in our lives. We've been trying to force ourselves to feel so dedicated to a job that we fucking hate. We're trying to force ourselves to commit to something that isn't even for us to commit to, you know? So I think that if anything, this eclipse is a real opportunity to recognize where have I been trying to explain away how I've been really feeling, or where have I been ignoring the big issues and what I've been trying to do just because I want to do it so bad. You know, like sometimes we ignore the fact that we're not in a space where we can meet friends because we want friends so bad, you know, and that's something that I'm having to realize, and something I realized recently. And this might be something that's true for you guys too. I don't know if it's everybody, but it might be true for y'all too. And I might do a whole nother video about this because this gagged me when I thought about this. This gagged me, y'all. So here I am doing my Fruit for You first live session. Shout out to all of my students in Fruit for You. If you guys are watching, I love y'all. So we had our first live. It was so beautiful and it blessed me so much. And I felt so good. And I am always so surprised by how everyone else perceives me, because people always tell me how wise I am. People are always so appreciative of the spaces I create for them. And I don't even take any of the glory or any of the thanks because God gives me these ideas. You know, I don't think it's me at all. I'm blessed that God, you know, gives me these gifts and speaks through me and allows me to do certain things, but it's never me. But I always I'm so humbled and so grateful and so appreciative of anybody that sees me as someone that's wise, that's knowledgeable, someone that they can learn from, someone that they want to continue to learn from and grow with. I love that. And I was like, you know what? I think this is what I've been looking for in friendships all of this time. And that really gagged me, because when I think of friendships, like group friendships, like the type of group that I would want, because you guys know I've always talked about wanting a friend group, loving sisterhood, making a friend group, had to cut everybody off, child. Now I just got my two little friends, you know, so it's like, I've been in so many spaces where I've just felt like, but I want this friend group, I want this friend group, I want this community, I want this community. And in that moment I had to be like, I have community. I have people that see me, I have people that value me, I have people all over the world that don't trust anybody else with their spirit, with their energy, none of that. I have people all over the world that have watched dozens of people online and nothing hit until they saw me. So I have what I've been looking for my entire fucking life. Literally, especially what I've been looking for on this journey. Like, I've craved community like an addict, literally. Like, I don't have sisters, I have 6 brothers. So I've always wanted a sisterhood. I was doing dance teams in school, cheerleading teams, step team, honey, whatever I can do that's going to connect me with other women, whatever I can do that's going to connect me with sisterhood. And even now in my personal life, of course, I'm dedicated to sisterhood. I'm dedicated to the sisters that I have in my life. But I don't need 6. or 7 because I have 100,000. Ding, you know? So I think that sometimes we just kind of need to just look at things from the bigger picture, because when I'm just looking at myself and my day-to-day life, I might not feel like I have a lot of friends. I might not feel like I ever get out the house. I might not feel like no one ever sees me. I might not feel like I never give people advice. I have people that will watch my videos from years ago today. I have people that will listen to a podcast episode from 6 months ago and be like, this is exactly what I needed to hear right now. You know, so I'm never without examples that I'm worthy, that I'm valuable, that I'm right where I need to be. I'm never without community, ever. Even though I felt like that. And maybe I felt like that because maybe my ego wanted to be in my face or whatever. Maybe this is just still a little new to me. But, or maybe it just hasn't felt super, super authentic, you know? I think, and this is something that a lot of y'all deal with. A lot of y'all have online spiritual friends, but that's not enough for you. You want homegirls in your area that's spiritual. And I get that because we want that physical connection with people. We want to be able to pray together and sit around and meditate together, as if it's not enough on the phone or on live or on FaceTime or whatever. I have so many clients that I talk to and have actually met up with. Like when I'm in their town, I will go and see them because we're family now, because we bonded over our FaceTime calls and our texts and our check-ins and our sessions. And there's so many ways to create connection. And, you know, sometimes we have the connection and we just don't value it as much because we want a different type of connection. And we can't be greedy, and we can't be like, no, I don't want that, I want that one. And that's how a lot of us are. Like, a lot of us want to be entrepreneurs so bad, and we don't even recognize that we already have freedom in our own life in certain spaces. You know, like a lot of us feel like we don't have this, or we don't have this, or we don't have this. And sometimes if you look within your life, you have those things, you know. I also have 2 cats, and I can sometimes feel lonely if I'm here all day and my husband's at work or whatever. And I'm like, I have 2 cats. I don't have to feel lonely. And maybe cats is the definition of loneliness. For some people it is. But I think that it's just about really, really recognizing what you have and being grateful for what you have. Real, true gratitude. Not gratitude that turns into, but I don't have this. Because that's what we do sometimes. A lot of times we fake the gratitude. We feel like, yeah, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for this. And the whole time we talk about what we're grateful for, we're thinking about the one thing we don't have. We're like, yeah, I'm grateful for this, but what I really want is this, you know? So I think living in an abundance of gratitude, walking in an abundance of gratitude, just trusting yourself beyond belief, knowing yourself beyond belief, and really, really paying attention to the things that you've been learning. You've been being shown things that only you can see, only you can handle, only you can tolerate, only you can face about you. And just like I mentioned before, we see our good, our bad, our ugly, our worst. We know everything about ourselves. So it's always going to be harder to kind of take those messages and really let it sink in and really be like, okay, this is how I have to move. This is what I have to do. But in reality, it's the only option that we have. You know, the alternative is never getting what you need, always doubting yourself, always questioning yourself, always feeling like you could be, should be, would be doing more. And all of those things are true. There are a lot of spaces where we should be doing more. There are a lot of spaces where we should try to elevate and change all of these things. But there also are spaces where we're fine just as we are. And I think this eclipse season is absolutely about accepting where you are, recognizing everything you have, showing an unlimited amount of gratitude for the things that you have. But it's also about being very, very mindful and specific about the lessons that you're learning and how you're learning these lessons, and not torturing yourself further in the process or allowing yourself to just project everything that you're learning. You know, some of us see or we recognize, oh, maybe I didn't need to trust this person from way back when, and we completely like use that gift of intuition to dog everybody in our lives. You were wrong for me, you were wrong for me, you weren't right for me, you weren't right for me, you didn't like me from the start. But it's like, you knew they didn't like you. You knew they were just using you, and you kept staying there. So yeah, they used you, but can't nobody use somebody that's not allowing themselves to be used. Can't nobody take advantage of someone that's not allowing themselves to be taken advantage of. So we have to also recognize how we've played a part in our own sadness, or even in friendships, or maybe we've been the mean one. We've been the one that overstepped our boundaries. We've been the one to take advantage of someone else. We've been the one to, maybe treat somebody else a nasty way because everybody else is treating us nasty. So we're going to put it on somebody else, This eclipse is really putting a mirror up in front of us, and it's not really letting us walk away from the mirror. Like, we're kind of being walked down with the mirror. Like, what they say to do to dogs when dogs shit in the house? And when pets shit in the house, you're supposed to put their face in it. That's what the eclipse is doing. The eclipse is putting your face in your shit. It's saying, this must have been smelling. You been smelling that? That's what it is. It's that drama from 5th grade that you faced again in 9th grade, that you faced again in 10th grade, that you faced again in college, and that you faced in your first marriage, and that you see it in your children. It's that. That's what's been smelling up your life, And it's been that specific. Like, I know for a fact right now, if y'all say, okay, I've really been battling with insecurity, imposter syndrome, self-sabotage, doubting myself, questioning myself, giving too much of myself. If you think about anything that you've been battling with or anything you've been wanting to change, I guarantee you'll be able to see so many different areas of your life where those things have come up for you, where that's been a problem for you. You'll be able to see so many other areas in your life where that's come up for you, where it's been an issue, where it's been something that you need to work on. And just because it's easier to push pain to the side, we just haven't dealt with it. And eclipse seasons are going to continue to happen because we're never done. Okay, so this is not to say you better heal it now, because if you don't heal it now, you just toe up. It's not to say that, but the longer you stay in stuff, the harder it's going to be to get out of it. If you have your whole house stinking to shit, it's going to take you a lot longer to clean that up versus having a little shit in a corner. And you like, I see it, let me deal with it. And a lot of us aren't in that space of seeing shit and dealing with it. A lot of us see the shit and we turn our back and we're like, okay, I'm going to stop looking at it because eventually it's going to stop smelling, or you're going to just get used to it. And that's how a lot of us has been. And Jennifer Lewis definitely said, once you're in shits, it eventually is going to stop smelling, okay? And that's the real thing. A lot of us, so much stuff is in our life, we don't even smell it anymore. It's not even an issue anymore for us because it's something that we always have done. It's like second nature now. So this is a time to fix your second nature. This is a time to fix your default and have your default mechanism be one that says, no. I do love myself. I am worthy. I am valid. I do trust myself. I am everything that I've ever wanted to be. You are in this space right now to pour those things back into yourself and remind yourself of who you are, remind yourself of where you're going, remind yourself of all of the things that you're capable of, all of the things that you can have in this life and in the world. And I think that more than ever, it's just really, really important to not take that for granted. And I'll probably always say that because we see the world going to hell in a handbasket with 2 bowls on the side, okay, with gasoline draws on and everything else that's hot in the skillet with the coals. We can see it. So it's like an eclipse in a couple of years is going to be even more transformational. The eclipse season that we have in the fall, God help us. Ooh, I always think the winter eclipse season is so dark because of course it's in winter. You're about to be in hibernation spiritually to deal with that stuff. So thankfully we have the spring equinox. Okay, summer is right around the corner. This eclipse is not one that, yes, it's bringing a lot to the light. Yes, it's showing you a lot. Yes, it's challenging you a lot. Yes, it might bring up old stuff. But the purpose of this is not to beat you down to the ground. The purpose of this is really just to say, look, now that you're up, now that it's sunny, look, now that we have more sunlight, look at what is around you. Look at what you've sat in. Look at what you've done. And I think that sight and applying those things that we're seeing is going to be different. The difference between just seeing stuff and it causing you pain versus seeing stuff and being like, let me deal with this. Because I see stuff all the time. I have to have hard conversations all the time. But I'd rather do that than continuously feel some type of way and not know why or not know how, or just feel like something's off and have it come up all the time and not know where it's coming from, or not be open enough to say, where is this? What is going on? So of course it's going to be a challenge to get to the bottom of these things, as anything is, but this eclipse is going to set you up with things to heal and work on for the foreseeable future. Seriously, we'll be tapping into these things definitely, I would say, until the beginning of July at least, because as things are going to show up for us, we're going to be seeing these things more. We're going to be seeing things more and more in our connections, and everybody is experiencing this. Y'all aren't the only people that's seeing this. We're all seeing these things right now. So yeah, That's just a few downloads about the eclipse. I hope you guys have been enjoying these videos and these, chit chat vibes. I appreciate you guys. If you want a total transformation message to see how this eclipse, the total lunar eclipse we just had and the total solar eclipse that's going to be on April 8th, if you want a total transformation message to see how these energies are going to be affecting your financial situation and your relationships and overall your spiritual journey, then go ahead and tap in. The directions are going to be at the top of the description box to get into it. I appreciate you guys and I love y'all. And yeah, I hope you guys have a really, really, really great, awesome eclipse season. I hope these energies continue to bless you guys, and check out the Ladies Podcast episode to kind of continue this conversation about being careful of what you believe and what you put your faith in this season. Of course, everything is down below in the description box. I love y'all, and I will see you guys next time. Bye guys, bless.